Part 51. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 501. In a dedicated space. Yabai glanced at Dracula and boasted casually. The little hat is nice, quite unique. After saying that, he walked directly outside to find his money tree. Dracula stuffed the remaining half of the baked sweet potato into his mouth and hurriedly followed. Stop. Before Yabai arrived, the voice came first. In front of the money tree, the fool master is about to shake it. Yabai stopped her crazy behavior. Shura, we have an agreement. The foolish master is indignant and complains about himself. I can shake this tree every day, and what comes out belongs to me. I didn't say I was going to break the agreement. Yabai said plausibly and confidently. Let me shake it first. It's my grandmother's. Every time Master Fool finishes shaking it, Yabai shakes all the pills. We cannot let this demon destroy the Taoist heart of the most powerful human race. Look at your stingy look. Master Fool snorted coldly and said disdainfully. I have never seen such a stingy Xeon seed. Hey, I'll let you know a lot today. For the Fool Master, Yabai has always been the king of words. It is impossible to take action, not even in this life. Master Fool has made it clear that he is much stronger than Su Qingfeng, and Yabai is not a fool, so why is he asking for trouble? Before shaking the tree, Yabai broke a breaking news for the Fool Master. Frontline Abyss Battle Report, the 7th and 8th demon gods were killed. The death of the 2 demon gods left Master Fool without any disturbance in his heart. The devil is dead, it's none of my business. As long as the human race still needs SSS level weapons, her life, as the number 1 blacksmith of the 2 races, will not be in danger. Shake. The Fool Master was sitting on a chair, and the Wasteland Elf envoy stood behind the chair to squeeze her shoulders and hit her back. I want to see what you can do today. The money tree has grown from half a meter to 2 meters in one breath, and the quality has skyrocketed. The banknote ability behind him is also rising with the tide. Yabai took a deep breath, held his breath and concentrated, his energy settled in his dantian, he held the money tree and shook it slightly. Crash! A pile of golden maple leaves fell in front of Yabai. He subconsciously concentrated on checking the corresponding information. Stop making noise. The strongest eye is sleeping. Hiss. After these 3 awakenings, the prompts became hardened. Yabai wondered, if he continued to awaken, was there a possibility that he would not be able to defeat Dan Yan when he reached the 95th floor? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Yabai quietly put these maple leaves into the storage space, squinting his eyes and making a please gesture. Something's wrong. Master Fool looked at Yabai with a strange face. If you shake something like this, with your virtue, you should jump up and shout hello. Sure, today is very abnormal. Look at what you said, how disgusting it is. Yabai rolled his eyes and was too lazy to talk to the Fool Master. Etc. Master Fool glanced at Yabai and said in surprise. You awakened 3 times. No, there was not enough time. You awakened by force. Yabai is strong even if he is not straightforward. So what? Then you are miserable. The corners of Master Fool's mouth raised slightly, and he gloated and said. Before entering levels above 90, your talent. Before Master Fool finished speaking, he suddenly noticed that Shura was vaguely relieved after hearing the conditions. Most people cannot detect such subtle emotional changes. Only the Fool Master who knows Shura extremely well can capture it keenly. You actually went above the 90th floor. Master Fool screamed, pointed at Yabai in disbelief, and murmured. You. With Shura's current strength, it is simply impossible to enter the 90th level or above through normal means. Eliminating all answers, there is only one possibility. Shura, I have been to the 99th floor. Keep your voice down. Ye Bai scolded. Even if it's true, you can't go around saying it. He shouted loudly. The matter of the Supreme Seat Shura going to the 99th floor is an extremely important secret. Cain, Dracula. The louder you are, Xiaoao will probably be able to hear you. Listening to the tone of the Fool Master, forcing 3 awakenings will cost a lot. One way to solve hidden dangers is to go above the 90th floor. After discovering the truth, Ye Bai realized belatedly that the third brother had helped him solve a small hidden danger without his knowledge. However, from Xiaoao's point of view, this is nothing, let alone worthy of him taking the initiative to mention it. Okay, it's very relaxing. Feeling more at ease, Ye Bai looked at the Fool Master and then at the money tree. A pile of eternal gold coins fell out of her pocket, fell on the roots of the tree, and were completely absorbed. If he succeeds in returning to the earth, he will consider restoring the 3 updates to 4 updates, and at the same time help Xuemeng pay back the updates he owes everyone. Ye Bai laughed so hard that he was out of breath. After 12 o'clock in the evening, everyone was curled up in the Eternal Tower, and he lay down directly. In the April update, we will first try to return to the Underworld update. Xiao Xiao's eyes came over and happened to meet Ye Bai's eyes. I am teacher, my surname is Xiao and my given name is Xiao Le. You can call me Teacher Xiao. Area C, Multimedia Classroom. Master Fool stepped forward and shook his hand. It was a challenge for the veteran to recycle foreshadowings across a million words. Even in the early stages of writing, he didn't know if he could hold on to 1 million words. Fortunately, he finished it. Open up. Fool Master? Ye Bai. Whose general is this? Can you still lose money by shaking the cash cow? He was sent as an undercover agent by the 5th demon god. Above the exclusive space, Shura's arrogant laughter spread. I thought that with half a copper coin, I was already invincible. Shura, let's wait and see. Ha ha ha. A young and promising new teacher is introducing himself. Hello students. Since Xiaoao had warned him not to venture into the Eternal Tower recently, Ye Bai simply didn't even go to the wolf lair. There weren't many things in the exclusive space, so Ye Bai simply dealt with them, then left the exclusive space and returned to the real world. The daily life of the Supreme Seed is so boring and boring. Even without the eye of insight, Ye Bai understood what Xiao Xiao wanted to express. Ye Bai started an ordinary day at the summer camp. Xiao Xiao, yes, you guessed it right. Xiao Xiao nodded steadily without showing anything unusual. In March, I will basically update 6,000 words 3 times a day, and the time will be delayed. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 502. The main thing we want to learn today is to cherish life and stay away from demonic religions. On the stage, teacher Xiao Xiao spoke passionately about the various dangers of the demon cult. When he talked about something exciting, his eyes would turn red and he would shed 2 lines of tears. Xiao Xiao cursed loudly. People in the demon cult are all bastards, beasts, vampires, parasites. In order to let everyone better understand how shameless the people in the demon cult are, Xiao Xiao even gave a ready-made example. Students, the former leader of the 4th demon cult killed his savior in order to join the demon cult. For a time, the crowd in the classroom was furious and hated everyone in the demon cult. The educational effect was very good. Feng Dong, who was sitting next to Ye Bai, whispered. This teacher Xiao has something. Teacher Xiao, is there more than just something? If he showed his title, timid classmates might be frightened to death on the spot. In addition to serving as the leader of the 4 demon sects, Xiao Xiao is also the first acting leader of the 5th demon sect in history. Ye Bai pretended to be curious and asked. What's the point? His background is very mysterious, and there are only 8 words marked on the information. The confidentiality level of the information that Feng Dong could access was not high, and Ye Bai also had permission to access it. Ye Bai followed Feng Dong's guidance and clicked on Xiao Ziao's file. I am a good person. Absolutely loyal. Ye Bai laughed out loud and nodded slightly. It's really interesting. Who is Xiao Ziao loyal to? That's hard to say. Xiao Ziao is as slippery as a loach. However, Ye Bai is not worried that Xiao Ziao will rebel. Xiao Ziao has only done one thing in his life, to survive. If Xiao Ziao betrays the human race, there is no need for Ye Bai to take action. Lian Liangan will take the initiative to recycle the waste. Level 994 Lian Liangan is a sharp sword hanging above Xiao Ziao's head, always reminding him, be a good person. There is a ruthless war god who is watching over him. Jingle bell. That's the end of today's class. Xiao Ziao was stuck in time and ended the class. At the same time, he looked towards the back row of the classroom. Student Ye Bai, come to my office after class. Everyone's eyes fell on Ye Bai, a little curious as to why teacher Xiao was looking for him. Brother Bai, something good happened. Feng Dong showed a mysterious smile, lowered his voice and said mysteriously. When you come back, I'll tell you in detail. If you don't play the Riddler for a day, you'll die. Ye Bai rolled his eyes, stood up, and walked out of the classroom. Xiao Ziao's office. You use tea. Before Ye Bai sat down, a cup of tea was respectfully handed to him, and Xiao Ziao was particularly attentive. Ye Bai did not take the tea, and the shadow under his feet was stretched infinitely. The shadow completely blocked the surrounding space, and a rough voice came. Fourth Master, it's easier to talk. Thank you, Master. Ye Bai nodded slightly and looked at Xiao Ziao again. Why were you thrown back again? Looking at what you said, I don't feel comfortable living in the abyss either. Xiao Ziao sneered and said. My leader asked me to come to Blue Star to do something. Be specific. Ye Bai cares about what the fifth demon wants to do. Among all the demon gods, the fifth demon god is the most special one. Of course, there is also the relationship between Ying Er Ye. As a double agent, Xiao Ziao also has his own professional ethics. How could the secrets of the fifth demon sect be revealed? Classmate Ye Bai, I cannot reveal anything about the fifth demon sect to outsiders casually. Xiao Ziao changed the subject and asked in a low voice. Are you interested in taking a temporary position in the fifth demon cult with a monthly salary of 1,000 God of War merits? Ahem. The merits of 1,000 war gods sounds very tempting. Ye Bai decisively refused. Mere money, regard it as dirt. How can I bow down for some meritorious deeds of the god of war? What a joke. Ye Bai still wants to lose face. You can have such a thing as black history, and you can also sell your own black history for money. But you have to sell it at a good price, right? With 1,000 war god deeds, you want Ye Bai to be an undercover agent? There are no doors. But Ye Bai smiled slightly. Just because I can't do it, doesn't mean others can't do it. Saying that, Ye Bai waved his hand and said hello. I will introduce you to a level 989 candidate. Second Master, come out and get to know Teacher Xiao. A strange woman as beautiful as a flower appeared in front of Xiao Ziao. Xiao Ziao raised his eyebrows. I have admired the second master for a long time, and today. Before he finished speaking, the bad woman spoke. Fourth master, 1,000 is too shabby, isn't it? When you open your mouth, it smells like bearded scum. Xiao Ziao suffered a soul-crushing attack, froze in place, and doubted his life. Anyone who meets a bad woman for the first time will have the same thought. How nice would it be to be mute? Finally, after Ye Bai and Xiao Ziao bargained, Ying Yi became a member of the fifth demon sect with a monthly salary of 48,000. Who is this? This is obviously the prince. Xiao Ziyao wiped the sweat from his forehead and breathed a sigh of relief. I came to Blue Star this time with a total of 3 missions. First, the search for the prince is now completed. Ye Bai nodded slightly. It was reasonable for the 5th demon god to want to contact Ying Er. Seeing that Ying Er was taught to be so filial by Master Ju, the 5th demon god must be very touched, right? Second, reorganize the 5th demon cult with a monthly budget of 50,000 god of war merits. At this point, Xiao Ziyao was about to cry. A total of 50,000 yuan was allocated, and 48,000 yuan was given to the prince. With 2,000 funds, where can he go to form the 5th demon sect? I have a suggestion regarding the formation of the 5th demon section. Ye Bai said seriously. The ultimate goal of the so-called 5th demon sect is to kill the 5th demon god, right? Xiao Ziyao nodded wildly. Everyone has only one Pi, let the 5th devil die. In the past, your idea was to carry out sabotage, assassination, increase the threat and harm to the human race, and want the strong human race to take action against the 5th demon god, right? That's right, brother. Xiao Ziyao was a little confused. Is there any problem with this idea? It's a huge problem. Ye Bai said categorically. Instead of causing trouble for the human race, it is better to directly support the enemy. The more he talked, the more excited he became. Don't the 5th demon god want to die? Take the initiative to fund a group of seedlings who are loyal to the human race and have unlimited potential. When these seedlings grow up, they will naturally kill the 5th demon. Destroying and holding back the human race will only delay the death of the 5th demon god. Only by supporting the enemy can the death of the 5th demon be accelerated. Xiao Ziyao was stunned for a moment by what Ye Bai said. It seems, that makes sense. On the side, Master Ying, who was hiding in the dark, couldn't help but shake his head. It's over, I've been deceived again. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 503. Listening to Ye Bai's deception, Xiao Ziyao gradually felt that something was wrong. Boss, tell me, who is the greatest threat to my leader? That must be Shura. Xiao Ziyao. I've made this big trip with you, but I still need money. I'll ask my leader later and I'll give you an answer as soon as possible. Of course, what Ye Bai was worried about was not the remaining 2,000 god of war meritorious deeds. This little money is not even enough to stuff between your teeth. Ye Bai's meaning was very clear. The 5th demon god would spend an extra amount of money and distribute it to the talented young people of the human race in the form of scholarships. After saying the second thing, Xiao Ziyao looked slightly solemn and said seriously. The third thing is to ask me to carry out a sabotage mission. Sabotage the mission. Ye Bai also became alert. You actually want to cause destruction in Blue Star? The 5th demon god, you are extremely evil. Xiao Ziyao didn't dare to sell out, and said frankly. My teacher asked me to find a cake shop called Happy Duo and smash this cake shop. WTF? A question mark appeared on Ye Bai's head. What is this mess? Happy lots of joy. Is there anything special about the cake shop? Why did the 5th demon god destroy a cake shop? Is this the fall of the devil or a distortion of morality? Although my leader didn't say it clearly, I feel that there must be something fishy about this matter. Xiao Ziyao analyzed carefully. I used the old guy's account and checked Blue Star's internal information. In the past 50 years, there has been no cake shop like this. Listening to Xiao Ziyao's words, Ye Bai was thoughtful but did not speak. Don't say anything and pretend to be an expert. Too many words lead to mistakes. Xiao Ziyao continued his analysis. This cake shop may be the code name of a hidden organization, or it may be a family member of a strong person. After listening to Xiao Ziao's analysis for a long time, Ye Bai nodded slowly. You check first and find out the information before contacting me. No problem. After talking about the three things, Xiao Ziao changed the topic. Boss, I heard that the summer camp is about to be cancelled. Where will I go next in my career? Aren't you tired of working so many jobs by yourself? Ye Bai thought for a while, then made a decision and said. I'll write you a letter of introduction, and you can go join Mr. Lan. After agreeing with Xiao Ziao on the next time to meet, Master Ying removed the shadow space and Ye Bai walked out of the office. The bad woman followed Ye Bai and said carelessly. That guy is quite strong in the soul department. Ye Bai rolled his eyes and whispered. I'm warning you, don't think about capturing him for research, let alone sealing the memory after the research and pretending that nothing happened. The bad woman raised her eyebrows, can you still do this? Xiao Ziao, who followed the two of them out of the office. That little Zhang, come here, I have something good for you. Xiao Ziao waved and called Zhang Yun into his office. After returning to the classroom, Ye Bai found that not only Feng Dong was waiting for him, but Zhou Lingwei was also waiting for him. What's wrong, there are so many people today? Ye Bai was a little curious, and the atmosphere in the whole classroom was strange. Zhou Lingwei gave Feng Dong a look and signaled him to speak first. Ahem, brother Bai, that's it? Feng Dong explained. Urgent notice, the summer camp will be disbanded tomorrow, and today is the last day. Ye Bai pretended to be surprised and took a breath of cold air. He turned to look at Zhao Lin and warned. Remember to spend all the money in your meal card. Zhao Lin nodded steadily. I've already spent all my money on the fresh ingredients I bought. They're so lively. When it comes to saving money, Zhao Lin never disappoints. Ye Bai knew it and asked. Summer camp is over, what about us? After all, this summer camp lasted for a month. It's not long, it's not long, it's not short. The strengths and potentials of all students are recorded and preliminary ratings are given. Feng Dong explained. According to the plan, you will first return to your original high school, which is Nanjiang No. 3 Middle School. Those who perform well in the summer camp will be admitted to various universities in advance. Speaking of this, Feng Dong looked at Ye Bai and spread his hands. Brother Bai, you ranked first in Area C in this summer camp. Ye Bai ranked first, which means that Feng Dong's great cause of repeating a grade has failed. His plan to become classmates with Shuro was completely ruined. It's okay, think on the bright side. Ye Bai said seriously. When I skip a grade and graduate, you can call me senior. Brother Bai just loves to joke. Feng Dong waved his hand, indicating not to care about these details. The question now is, Brother Bai, which university are you going to go to? How to choose the top 2 universities? The imperial capital, the magical capital. With 2 options in front of him, Ye Bai thought about it. I want to go home and lie down. It wasn't until Feng Dong finished his introduction that Zhou Lingzi spoke. Ye Bai, if you are willing to choose Imperial University, we can provide a full scholarship and the right to use a imperial residence for 70 years. Zhou Spirit Machine said while Ye Bai pressed the calculator. If Ye Bai takes all the benefits and counts them all together, he can earn a full 500 God of War merits in 4 years. 500 million eternal gold coins. Zhao Lin took a breath, this is too much, right? Who is speaking ill of Shuro behind his back? Ye Bai was thoughtful and began to think seriously about where to study. Clear. In the Eternal Tower, Mr. Lan is participating in a video conference. Not only that, I also heard that Shura has a huge appetite. He can eat up a wolf's nest in one meal. Is it because the subsidy is higher? I heard that Shura is a money-loving person. Old Lan, Why does Shura want to go to the Magic City? Shura will choose to go to school in the Devil's capital. Don't let Shuemeng catch you, otherwise they will get the good news. Feng Dong explained. What's there to guess? The theme of this video conference is the second phase of the plan to cultivation of the strongest human race Shura. Zhou Lingmao explained. Unacceptable. In Huo Tianyi's opinion, just ask Mr. Lan directly. Even in the face of such a huge sum of money, Ye Bai was not moved at all. Is it because the drinks in Magic City are better? There are rumors that Shura is addicted to alcohol and often drinks tons of alcohol. Mainly because in the Xiong era, various bonus policies have been greatly improved. Brother Bai, there's no need to make a decision on the spot, just decide within 3 days. Huo Tian put his feet up on the table and said with a nonchalant expression. When he presented his conclusion, no one questioned it. Listening to everyone's guesses, Shuemen yawned. The Magic City is closer to the Eternal Tower. What the hell, why did Shura's image become like this? Even during a video conference, you can still smell an unusual bad breath from this tone. Everyone has speculated, why did Shura choose the Demon City? Lan Lao pushed up his glasses and gave an answer that convinced everyone. Compared with Imperial University, the treatment at Magic University is worse. More money and less money are not the only criteria for my decision. There have been a lot of policy adjustments in the past few days, and there will be more information in the future. Of course, many of the conditions are very harsh. For example, before graduation, you have to kill a 9th level warrior alone. Ye Bai used the same calculation method and found that there were only about 350 God of War merits. But online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 504. Which university is closer to the Eternal Tower? When Ye Bai asked this question, Feng Dong and Zhou Lingzhu were confused. What does it matter? No matter where you are on Blue Star, you can enter the Eternal Tower at any time, with full signal coverage and zero delay. Only Feet said in a deep voice. Modu University. While a few people were chatting, a voice suddenly came from the loudspeaker of the summer camp. A temporary news item is inserted below. Taito University has set up a branch for the first time. The branch will be located 200 kilometers outside the Eternal Forest. It is expected to be completed within 3 minutes. This station has received temporary news that the Taito University branch has been completed and students are welcome to sign up. Excuse me, Magic City University established a branch 150 kilometers away from the Eternal Forest 5 minutes ago. There was a loud noise from the radio station, as if someone was fighting, and the atmosphere was very anxious. After another 10 minutes, the radio station returned to normal. An arrogant man named Huo said coldly. All branches are cancelled, it's over. A farce was staged in a hurry and ended in a hurry, leaving Monk Zhang confused. What a generous move. Ye Bai couldn't help but sigh. Building a new campus in a few minutes can be called a miracle if it were placed in the place where he came from. There are many strong people in Blue Star, especially those in the civil engineering department, who are very good at construction. Even Ye Bai himself is proficient in the earth and wood elements, and is also a good hand in construction. No one thought of Ye Bai in this farce. The news that the summer camp was coming to an end immediately spread among the students. For the top group of students, it is a difficult choice between Shanghai University and Imperial University. Brother Bai, the latest news. Feng Dong rushed over with his new news. All the special training camps for SS-level talents choose Magic University. There are not many people with SS-level talent even in the entire Blue Star. There are probably more than 50 students on the special training camp list. But in the real sense, there are less than half of the students, no more than 30. There are many strong people pretending to be students and fishing in the special training camp. It is said that the results are remarkable, and many undercover agents of the demon sect have been caught. You all chose Shanghai University. Yabai raised his eyebrows slightly. Why? Who on earth predicted his own prediction? In the teacher's office, Xiao Ziao placed some special potions, materials, and other things in front of Zhang Yun. Put it away. These things are not expensive, and together they are not enough for one god of war meritorious service. But for Zhang Yun now, these things are exactly what he urgently needs to quickly improve his strength. Teacher Xiao, I really can't have this. Zhang Yun refused simply. On the one hand, after entering the summer camp, Zhang Yun received a lot of resources due to his excellent performance. On the other hand, these things given by teacher Xiao are too outrageous. These things of unknown origin are stained with the breath of the abyss. It makes people very suspicious of teacher Xiao's true identity. This is a trophy, you know what a trophy is. Xiao Ziao couldn't help but force it on Zhang Yun. He has his own ideas. For Xiao Ziao, the greatest pursuit in this life is to live. If you want to add a qualifier, it would be, live happily. Be a little more chic in life. Xiao Ziao can come back from the dead. In addition to Xiao's handwriting, Zhang Yun is also a key part. Repaying kindness is Xiao Ziao's innate virtue. Xiao Ziao knows one thing very well. People are doing it, and he is watching it. Xiao Ziao knows a lot about the secrets of the most powerful people. For example, when he saw the Heavenly King's sword for the first time, he said with certainty that this sword should be in Wuhan's hand. Since Xiaoao is watching, Xiao Ziao feels that it is always good for him to do more good deeds and accumulate more virtues. Another point is also very important. Zhang Yun is Zhang Ziyuwen's son. Zhang Ziyuwen is Lian Liangan's savior again. Although the old guy was ruthless, he still had clear grudges. Xiao Ziao took care of Zhang Yunzao. From now on, if Lian Liangan wants to kill Xiao Ziao, he should be more agile when doing so. That's all I pursue. Xiao Ziao finally understood the worldly nature of human nature. After handing the things to Zhang Yun, Xiao Ziao thought for a while and spoke again. Based on your performance, you must choose between the Demon City and the Imperial City. Zhang Yun nodded and asked respectfully, Teacher Xiao, what should I choose? If you go to the Imperial capital, you can work steadily, and within 10 years you can expect to be the king of war. In 100 years, it is also possible to touch the corner of the god of war. Xiao Ziao muttered. The magic city is more dangerous. You may soar into the sky, or you may remain silent. How you choose in the end depends on you. After saying that, Xiao Ziao picked up the teacup and saw off the guests. Judging from the news flying all over the world, as long as you are not blind, you can see the clues. Shura is probably going to Shanghai University. Only by following the strongest seeds can you enjoy the biggest dividends of the strongest era. If nothing else. In this summer camp alone, in just 1 month of training, many people have already achieved warrior level strength. There were only Zhou Lingwei, Lu Sueki, Ye Bai, Zhaolin, 4 cows, 3 pigs, 5 sheep. What do you know? Writing a diary, can you call it water? It is called a detailed summary, with full details and vivid images. Are you too good at water? Ye Bai patted Zhaolin on the shoulder and said confidently. The banner clearly says. Old Zhao, your ingredients are a bit too fresh. Feng Dong and Feet returned to Shanghai University first and did not take the bus with Ye Bai and others. Warmly congratulate our schoolmate Ye Bai for killing 2 level 100 monsters. There are so many credits left on the meal card, so we can't waste them, right? He has now completed initial treatment and is now on to a recovery phase. Wandering in the corridor, Zhang Yun lowered his eyes slightly, thinking about where to go. No serious person can keep a diary. Teachers and students from Nanjiang No. 3 Middle School surrounded the minibus and bus, lined the streets to welcome them, and even held up banners. In this regard, Ye Bai has only one comment. Zhao Lin was anxious. Zhao Lin was also helpless. Ye Bai raised his head slightly and almost spit out a mouthful of blood when he saw the content on the banner. Zhao Lin lay beside the car window and muttered, "Given time, it will become a great thing." The journey back to Nanjiang City was uneventful and there was no attack from the demon cult. 100,000 words is too much for this trivial matter. Summer camp is very efficient. Ye Bai sneered at this. "It's okay, Lao Zhao, I'm optimistic about you. In fact, the devil's cult is living in a particularly miserable state now, hiding and not daring to show their faces at all. How you came to summer camp is how you go back. If I switched to a diary, I could write 500,000 words." There was no disbanding ceremony or notification. After the afternoon class, Ye Bai and others were pulled directly onto the minibus. Nanjiang City's #1 winner is none other than you. If he wants to go to college, he still needs to take the college entrance examination with the army, and thousands of troops crowd the single plank bridge. Why do I feel that the past 30 days have been so long? Ye Bai, Zhao Lin, and others, who had returned home in glory, saw a warm welcome team as soon as they got off the minibus. Unfortunately, Zhao Lin's performance in the summer camp could only be considered satisfactory and he was not qualified for direct admission. There are still more than 60 days until the college entrance examination. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 505. The content on the banner has long been spread. When Ye Bai got out of the car, he naturally heard a lot of compliments. "I didn't expect that Ye Bai was so powerful that he could go to the abyss and come back alive. No, I also killed 2 level 100 monsters. I heard that he also hit people everywhere in the summer camp." Ye Bai couldn't help but rolled his eyes. Is this matter impossible? From the perspective of Nanjiang #3 Middle School, the CC combination of Ye Bai and Zhao Lin was originally a 1-week summer camp experience card. Who would have thought that after these two people left, they would never come back? Nanjiang #3 Middle School cannot view Ye Bai's specific ranking in the summer camp due to confidentiality regulations. But the principal also got some scraps of information through his own connections. For example, Ye Bai single-handedly killed 2 level 100 monsters. Everyone give way. The welcoming team separated, and the principal and others came forward to welcome the outstanding students of the school. They never expected that what was coming their way was a herd of cattle and horses. The principal was stunned. Are you going to summer camp, or are you going to have cross-species surgery? How can a good student turn into a charlatan after just learning? What went wrong? Sorry, I brought back some souvenirs. Zhao Lin, who was trying to subdue the wild horse, apologized repeatedly. This little episode was laughed off, and after simple greetings and courtesy, everyone went back to their homes to find their mothers. Ye Bai didn't take the matter at Nanjiang #3 Middle School to heart. He has already made up his mind to go to Shanghai University for further studies. If he hurry, he will get the admission notice tomorrow. For Ye Bai, there are more important things to do now. The Eye of Insight, which has been offline for a long time, is finally online. Ouch! The strongest eye, ready. The Eye of Insight, which awakened 3 times, came back online after a brief slumber. A familiar reminder appeared in front of Ye Bai's eyes. Third Awakening Announcement v1.0. In this awakening, the bug of not being able to view the information of level 1000 ordinary strong men has been fixed, and subsequent issues will be continuously optimized. This awakening has opened a new function, Sage Mode, which can lock level 1000 ordinary strong men in battle. This awakening is a small step for the strongest eye, a big step for SSS level talent. Ye Bai glanced at the awakening announcement and automatically ignored the nonsense. It can display the information of ordinary powerful people at level 1000, which means, they are still the most contemptuous in front of the most powerful people. Of course, Yabai didn't have much expectations for the most disdainful eye. There was only the wrong talent name, not the wrong nickname. Yabai has experienced the Sage mode before, and the effect is very good. Every time you enter Sage mode, the ability of the Eye of Insight will increase a lot. Of course, Sage mode has certain side effects. Frequently entering Sage mode in a short period of time may cause the Eye of Insight to be overdrawn, forcing him to fall into a deep sleep just like this time. What worries Yabai the most is the hidden danger of forcibly awakening 3 times. Historical hidden danger: the 4th awakening cannot be carried out before reaching the 90th floor of the Eternal Tower. Yabai. That's it, that's it? Yabai went to the 99th floor, which was like medicine that cured the disease and there was nothing wrong with it. After thinking about it carefully, Yabai immediately realized that he had nothing to worry about. After forcibly awakening 3 times, Yabai met Wuhan and Xiaoyao one after another. In other words, if Yabai is really in big trouble. He swaggered past the 2 most powerful men, but neither of them refused to save him. If Xiaoyao thinks there is nothing wrong with him, then there is nothing wrong with him. It's not a big problem, don't panic. Of course, there is another possibility. The problem is huge, there is no point in panicking. No matter which one it is, Yabai doesn't need to panic. Major hidden danger. A bold and enlarged prompt popped up in front of Yabai's eyes. You must awaken 4 times as soon as possible. Yabai. This is too impatient. The Eye of Insight has just awakened for the 3rd time and can't wait to awaken for the 4th time. Requirements for the 4th awakening: level 500, some cheap eyewash materials. Even if he is Tanyan, he will be cautious when raising money with Shura. Cheap. Yabai became angry on the spot. In order to force his 3rd awakening, he bought 21 eyewash materials in one go. One material costs 100,000 God of War merits. Without reimbursement, 2.1 million God of War merits are required. Thinking of this, Yabai wanted to slap himself twice. See what you can do. In order to kill the 8th demon god, I got 2.1 million War God merits. Even if the 2.1 million God of War meritorious service is in vain, let's just let it go. It's such a waste. The first part is used to offset the money you spent on purchasing 21 eyewash materials. The Goblin Boy said straight to the point. It can also be used to enchant equipment, strengthen the Eternal Sea, and can even be attached to the skin to temporarily enhance defense. Its preciousness is evident. The price of golden maple leaves in Wanwu Pavilion is 50-100 God of War merit per piece. There is no market for the price. I just finished the meeting. I have something to discuss with you. It took a damn year to repay the principal. Great. The handful of golden maple leaves in Yabai's hand has a total of 62 pieces, worth thousands of God of War merits. As long as he is not allowed to make these 2.1 million God of War meritorious deeds, I can say anything. Hiss. Yabai calculated. In history, only the most powerful people have defeated the demon god. Even the many resources of the human race were snatched back by the strongest. But eternal gold is the raw material of eternal gold coins. Converting the material into eternal gold is one of the most basic uses of golden maple leaf. Seeing the introduction in front of him, Yabai couldn't help but take a breath and jumped up and cheered on the spot. Yabai quickly took out the golden maple leaf that he had shaken out from the money tree before, and looked at it with concentration. The money tree after being strengthened by Xiaoyao is extraordinary. Zhao Qian hasn't finished speaking yet. Shura's participation in killing the 8th demon god has become a difficult problem as to how to reward him. What rewards do the strongest need? Golden maple leaf. After attaching it, watering the moon well water can change the material of the object into eternal gold. If you shake goods worth 5,000 Aries merits each time, you only need to shake them 420 times to pay off the debt for the eyewash materials. Yabai said categorically. Your meritorious service in killing the 8th demon god is divided into 2 parts. I agree. Yabai put on a posture of listening attentively. Just when Yabai was worried about the debt, a piece of good news came. Shake your ass. After several days of meetings, they finally came up with a plan for Zhao Qian and Shura to discuss. Fourth brother, are you there? A golden maple leaf can be converted into up to 5 million eternal gold coins, which is 5 god of war merits. Zhao Qian came up with the negotiated terms. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 506. As for the second part of the income, 5% of the annual output of the 8th abyss, the 9th demon god will transfer it to you, fourth brother, through the pavilion of all things. This is the real big deal. How many steps does it take to kill a demon? Answer, 3 steps. The first step is to kill the devil. The second step is to purify the source. The third step is to recycle the abyss. Among these 3 steps, Yabai only participated in the first step, and that's just participation. Everyone knows who killed the 8th demon god. However, Xiaoao has never cared about worldly affairs, and no one dared to ask him about this matter. So, the credit for killing the 8th demon is 50-50 for Shura Xiaoao. This makes sense. Although he has made a lot of contributions, it is difficult to give a clear standard for the specific contribution. It is for this reason that the final plan only had a 5% abyss income. Hearing this number, Yabai frowned and felt that things were not simple. Zhao Qian waited for a few seconds but did not receive a reply. Fourth brother thinks it's missing. No, I'm thinking about another question. Yabai said seriously. Does this give me equity or dividend rights? If the 8th abyss loses money, will I lose money? If the 8th abyss needs to increase investment, do I need to pay? A series of rigorous questions were slapped on Zhao Qian's face. Zhao Qian had already considered these issues before coming. According to common sense, if the shares are given to Shura, then of course they are responsible for their own profits and losses. Even if something goes wrong in the 8th abyss, Shura has the responsibility to intervene. But, looking at Shura's attitude, Zhao Qian only intended to take money and not to contribute. Okay, this is very Shura. Zhao Qian simply asked directly. What do you think, fourth brother? Zhao Qian is the person who has done the most fair transactions with Shura. He knew very well that once Shura had an idea, he would most likely implement it. It's better to just do what Shura said. Anyway, this transaction was conducted within the framework of the pavilion of all things, and Shura would not make excessive demands. If it's in the form of shares, it's best to find someone to hold the shares on my behalf. Yabai calculated very clearly. I will make the money, and others will contribute. Zhao Qian followed Shura's words and said. Which person is more suitable to choose? We need someone who has a good relationship with Shura, is strong, hard-working and capable to help Shura hold shares on his behalf. Xuemeng, my ID number is. Yabai's eyes lit up. How is Xuemeng? After a brief chat with Zhao Qian, the two parties reached an agreement. Xuemenglei holds the shares for Shura. However, the income was paid directly to Shura's account without Xuemeng's hands. Yabai, who has a good way of acquiring wealth, specifically asked. The income from the abyss is not taxed, right? Zhao Qian corrected him. Taxes, and the 9th demon god will pay them for you. That's okay. As long as the money doesn't come from Yabai, he can accept it. After finalizing the 8th abyss, Yabai returned to his daily life. Since he didn't have to climb the tower, he felt free and even a little unaccustomed to it. It's like driving a go-kart when you're used to driving a big car, and you always feel uncomfortable. I have been too busy during this period of time, and I suddenly feel comfortable, and naturally I am not used to it. Pity. If there was no powerful demon, Yabai could always live in peace. Early the next morning, Yabai just got up and sent a message to Feng Dong. I've decided to choose Shanghai University. Half a minute after the news was sent, there was a knock on Yabai's door. Classmate Yabai, are you at home? There is an admission notice here for you to sign for. Is it so efficient? Yabai opened the door and saw a stranger who called himself Teacher Lu and gave him the admission notice. On the admission notice, the ink is still wet. Yabai looked out and saw the lonely back of an admissions teacher from Imperial University. Apparently, both of them were waiting outside Yabai's house. He makes the decision with the front foot and goes through the admission procedures with the back foot. Don't give Yabai any chance to regret. After watching Yabai sign for the goods, Teacher Lu introduced. Due to confidentiality regulations, classmate Yabai, your results in the summer camp are strictly confidential. The staff member who revealed that you single-handedly killed 2 level 100 monsters has been punished accordingly. Yabai. You can't get over this matter, right? At the same time, classmate Yabai, your admission to Shanghai Magic University will be kept secret for the time being. Teacher Lu explained. Because you were admitted in advance, you will report to the university next Monday and will study in the new campus for a period of time. Okay, thanks. Regarding the official confidentiality matter, Yabai has always supported it with both hands. After seeing Teacher Lu off, Yabai glanced at the calendar and almost laughed out loud. Today is Sunday, reporting in next Monday. Seamless connection belongs to yes. He walked back to his room to pack something, but found that there was nothing to pack. The world is deteriorating, and people's hearts are not as old as they used to be. If Sun Li doesn't go to Yingju, Yingju will go to Sun Li. So, Shura, you are coming to Magic City University. He did not rush to find Yingju and Huo Tianwang, but took a leisurely stroll and even had a leisurely picnic. Zhang Yun and Lu Sueki sent out news one after another, deciding to apply for Shanghai University of Science and Technology. For Yingju, the most unlucky thing was meeting Sun Li. Only then did Yabai remember. The abyss of power is just that big. As long as he is in the abyss of power, Yingju and the others will become unlucky. Unlike Yabai, they still need to take the preschool exam. It smells so good. More than 80% of the students in the summer camp, among the two universities, Magic City and Imperial City, ultimately chose Magic City. It has been several days since Sun Li entered the abyss of the strongest. Grilled chicken wings, my favorite. The teachers at the admissions office of Shanghai University are extremely busy today. The last time we had sex, Master Ju put the account on Zhao Lin's head. Sun Li is very confident about his bad luck. After much thought, Yabai finally sent a message to Zhao Lin and made an appointment to have dinner at a street stall to say goodbye. The mighty abyss. Thinking of this, Sun Li sighed piously. Combined with the previous SS-level talented students, all of them chose Moda University. Issues such as final admission and post-admission treatment still need to be determined through their own performance. Sun Li knew very well. Yabai sighed. I don't know if Mr. Ju has any barbecue in the abyss. No way. Praise be to you, God of doom and death. The house was empty, and he was alone. Hiss. An unkempt man dressed like a beggar held up the freshly roasted chicken wings in front of his nose and couldn't help but sigh. Not long after Yabai made his decision. The teachers who received the results were extremely excited, and even the most sluggish people could react at this time. On a bonfire, a pair of magic chicken wings were cut with a knife, brushed with oil, grilled until golden brown on both sides, and sprinkled with barbecue seasonings. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 507. Ding dong. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. This is Nanjiang City's morning news. Last night was still a night with no SSSS rating. Shura has not broken through for nearly a week. Yabai got up, stretched, and quickly finished washing. Last night, he and Zhaolin ate at the barbecue stall until 11:30. Zhaolin brought the ingredients with him and brought a sheep over, and the barbecue boss helped the two of them cook the whole lamb. Yabai ate 20 mutton skewers, 3 mutton ribs, 1 mutton hoof, and some vegetables. Zhaolin ate all the rest. The boss looked at it in amazement and marveled again and again. This is the first time I've seen such a delicious young man. These two people looked like students. They must not have gone to college yet, and they were probably not even soldiers. In this case, Zhaolin not only finished the roasted whole lamb, but also emptied the entire barbecue restaurant. It's so edible. Zhaolin sighed and frowned. Dabai, this is the first day after leaving the summer camp, and I've almost finished all the ingredients. What will I do next? He learned how to be a warrior from fight. The first lesson is about eating. Zhaolin's strength has not increased much, but his appetite has doubled. During the summer camp, food and accommodation are also included. When he returns to his hometown, Zhaolin will probably starve when all the inventory is used up. What's so rare about this? Yabai gave Zhaolin an idea. You go back to school tomorrow and challenge each one directly in the fighting class. Challenge. Zhaolin didn't react. I don't eat people, so why beat them? God eats people. Yabai rolled his eyes and explained patiently. You have to show your strength, sweep across the whole of Nanjiang, and show your potential to become the provincial champion, then the school will invest more in you. If Zhaolin relied solely on himself without relying on external forces, he would only have a chance to make a leap in college. I see. After being pointed out, Zhaolin was thoughtful, and then suddenly realized that he went back to his home. At that time, Yabai didn't take this matter to heart. After washing up, Yabai booked a ticket to Shanghai at 8 o'clock and prepared to leave alone. Yabai only told Zhaolin about going to study in another university. He didn't mention the location. He only said that he would be away for a while. When Yabai arrived at the station, it happened to be 7:15. Calculating the time, Zhaolin should have breakfast at this time. Yabai was about to walk into the station, but was stopped by someone chasing him. Bye Max, bye Max. Wait. Zhaolin, with a bruised nose and swollen face, chased after him. Yabai raised his eyebrows. Who were you beaten by? Zhaolin said happily. Headmaster. Yabai. Expand the story, your friend, I would like to know the follow-up. It's harmful, don't mention it. Zhaolin waved his hand and said helplessly. Didn't you tell me last night that you wanted me to challenge others and be in the limelight? I think we should just stop going to all this trouble and just block the door. At 6:03 this morning, Zhaolin appeared at the school gate and began to block the door. The first person to come to school was the principal. Zhaolin, who was just starting out, was also a tiger. He didn't care who his opponent was and launched a challenge on the spot. The principal, who was extremely powerful, took Zhaolin into a tizzy and crushed him without any suspense. Zhaolin became more and more frustrated and stopped at the school gate again. The passing dean. After a round of fighting between several teachers, Zhaolin was beaten into the shape of a bear in front of him. They came to a unanimous conclusion. This guy is very resistant to being beaten. After losing such good seedlings as Yabai, Lu Sueki, and Zhang Yun, Zhaolin, who stood out from the crowd, was instantly stunned. He has become the leader of number 3 middle school. From the perspective of a number 3 middle school teacher, Zhaolin is really a talented person. Anyway, the result is good. Ye Bai believed that at least in the next period of time, Zhaolin would no longer have to worry about food. Under the existing training mechanism, the stronger the potential, the stronger the strength, and the more channels for obtaining resources. Just like Ye Bai, Lu Sueki, and others, they can directly go to Shanghai University to register. Zhaolin, who is second best, needs to continue to work hard in Nanjiang City, and only when he gets ahead can he obtain more resources. From a certain point of view, every step is slow, and every step is slow. However, a blessing in disguise is a blessing in disguise. For Zhaolin, it may be a good thing to improve his strength slowly. Ye Bai has always believed that being around the strongest seeds will lead to misfortune, so don't involve Zhaolin. If Xuemeng suffers another hardship, Shuro will bear the burden. After fighting with the teachers, Zhaolin rushed to the station without stopping and appeared in front of Ye Bai to give him a ride. In this city, Zhaolin was the only one who could send Ye Bai off. If it were before, I'm afraid there would still be an old fox like Lao Lu. It's just that Lao Lu just broke through and became the god of war, and he's busy with things, so he won't be able to get away from it. In addition, Lao Lu was probably already waiting for Ye Bai at Shanghai University, so there was no need to waste time. Zhaolin began to unpack the large and small bags on his body. As he turned, he said, "Here is a wind-walking/skill book, as well as some recovery potions and scrolls, you can use them all." Finally, he gave Ye Bai a skull bag. A question mark slowly rose above Ye Bai's head. "Just give me a bag. Why do you bring so many things?" "I have breakfast." Zhaolin said it confidently. "I have to eat something on the way back." Ye Bai gave him a thumbs up. "You win." In fact, neither of them is good at saying goodbye. After Zhaolin handed the bag to Ye Bai, he said a few words briefly and sent Ye Bai to the car. When the train started slowly, Zhaolin turned around and left with the pig knuckle in his arms. As he gnawed, he muttered, "Always feel like you've forgotten something important." Zhaolin took a bite of the pork knuckle and had a flash of inspiration. "Oops, I didn't get the IOU back." He bought the skill book and gave it back to Ye Bai. In addition to this friendship, he also wanted to get the IOU back. This IOU is still in Ye Bai's hand. Who knows how much money it will turn into next time we meet. Forget it, it's all small money. Magic City Station. 9:45. After the train arrived at the station, a handsome man wearing a peaked cap got off the train in a low-key manner from the second-class carriage. After studying the subway for 10 seconds, Ye Bai decided to take a taxi. Free bus to Shanghai University for sightseeing tour. A student passed by holding a sign, looking a little listless. He didn't understand why such a bus was suddenly arranged. Most of the students at Magic City University are from well-off families. Not to mention taking taxis, many of them have their own small teleportation array. As for other citizens, they are not interested in Shanghai University. Who would take the free bus? Ye Bai, be alert. He stepped forward confidently and said seriously, "Hello, I am an out-of-town tourist and want to visit Shanghai University of Finance and Economics for free. Online games, only I can see hidden information." Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 508. Apart from the driver, there were only 2 passengers on the bus. One is Ye Bai and the other is Zhang Yun. The 2 of them sat at the front and back of the car, and even though they were fellow residents and alumni, they didn't interact at all. It's okay if the 2 are tired of each other. Modu University has arrived. The car door opened, the 2 got out of the car from the front and rear doors, and went their separate ways. Most candidates, like Zhang Yun, need to go through a new round of selection and elimination to finally determine their admission qualifications. Only the top 3 finishers in each district are eligible for direct admission. Following the introduction in the admission notice, Ye Bai went directly to the registration place and went through the freshman admission procedures. The teacher quickly completed the procedures. Classmate Ye Bai, you are assigned to class 3 of the 46th class. Your dormitory is in South District A105. This is your student card, the key to the dormitory. A document bag was delivered to Ye Bai's hand, and the teacher continued. The freshman senior assigned to you is Feng Dong. The information shows that you know, Feng Dong, this way. Talk about Feng Dong. Feng Dong arrives. Brother Bai, you are finally here. Feng Dong trotted all the way and rushed over. 2 days after the summer camp ended, he didn't expect Brother Bai to come so quickly. I'll take you to the dormitory to settle down first. Classes won't start officially until tomorrow. Under the leadership of Feng Dong, Ye Bai came to the so-called South District dormitory, and there were rows of single-family villas in front of him. A question mark floated above Ye Bai's head. You call this a dormitory? It's a 3-story building with a basement. It would be a waste if only one person lives in this dormitory. Feng Dong said confidently. There is plenty of land, and the house can be built in 2 minutes. What's the point of being crowded together? The emergence of the Eternal Tower has led to an increase in the strength of the entire human race, which naturally also brought about another significant result, an explosive increase in productivity. Even the dust removal efficiency has increased by more than 10,000 times. It used to take 10,000 people to clear the dust, but now one person can do it all. If it weren't for the threat of the abyss, the quality of life of the human race could be hundreds of millions higher. Feng Dong gave a brief introduction to the school, left a map and left in a hurry. The arrangement for the first day was to let Ye Bai move around freely and get familiar with Shanghai University. The specific class members and teacher assignments still need to wait until the list of new students is completely determined. Just when Ye Bai felt a little bored, news came about the secret realm pass trade. Fourth brother, have you arrived in the Magic City? Ye Bai, well, is there something wrong? Is it convenient for an interview? Good. Not long after receiving the agreement, the space in front of Ye Bai distorted, an eternal gold coin popped out, and then Zhao Qian walked out of it. There is only one possibility for Zhao Qian to choose an interview, it is related to Xiaoao. After arriving at Ye Bai's residence, Zhao Qian looked around and nodded slightly. This building is newly built, and the built-in defense system is pretty good. Even if the Peak Battle King is outside with all his strength, he can't do any damage. The Peak War King. Ye Bai was shocked and turned pale. Doesn't that mean that even Su Qingfeng can demolish this house? Zhao Qian. Although the words are said so, do they sound so harsh? Ye Bai made a request that was not excessive. Can you help me change it to be safer? In the past, what kind of bodyguards did Ye Bai have with him? 9th Master, 3rd Master's level. Don't panic when the devil comes. What now? It's okay for Ye Bai to be alone. Even Su Qingfeng can raid the place where he lives. I can't live this day. It can be changed, but it doesn't make sense. Zhao Qian said helplessly. Even if it is changed to a level that can resist Su Qingfeng, 4th brother, will you feel safe? Ye Bai was stunned, thought carefully, and then shook his head. Won't. You see, that's the problem. Zhao Qian pointed at the wall and said. Everything must be cost-effective. The one with the smallest investment can resist the invasion of the 9th level god of war, but the actual effect is 0. If you want to change it to one that can resist Shuemeng, the cost may be a bit unbearable. Oh, if I had known better, I wouldn't have gone to college. Ye Bai sighed and said helplessly. It's better to just move to the Eternal Forest and live in seclusion. Ye Bai's words reminded Zhao Qian. I can help you build a teleportation array that can reach the outskirts of the Eternal Forest from here. This is good, this is good. Ye Bai kept nodding and added. I have to talk to third brother every week. This is exactly what I need. Thank you for your hard work. Zhao Qian's brows jumped. Every time Shura calls him brother, nothing good happens. Judging from Ye Bai's tone, he didn't plan to spend the money to repair the teleportation array. Ye Bai also had something to say. What level of wealth did he have before? With 1 million God of War merits in his pocket, he was arrogant wherever he went. Now, I owe 400,000 credits to the God of War, and I can't even sleep well. Is this the money he can afford? No such ability. Let's talk about business. Sun Li hasn't met with Master Zhu yet, it will take some time. No. I asked the most powerful Wuhan, and he gave me a solution. In other words, my boss is now more inclined to Xiao Mendi. Lao Lan said that my boss has been thinking about whether it is Dai Meng Xiao or Xiao Mendi. Ye Bai turned to ask. Based on Ye Bai's understanding of his second brother. At that time, no one knows whether the most powerful person is my boss or the butterfly. Zhao Qian shook his head. What? Second brothers, take a look, whether it is just a look or a chop is open to debate. In a sense, Lan Lao is half of Xiao's teacher. What a mess. Everything was smashed. If my boss is completely convinced that it is Xiao Mendi, the butterfly pattern on the Taoist robe may come to life. Putting the matter of the teleportation array aside, Zhao Qian said seriously. Is there any news from Master Zhu? Ye Bai. Ye Bai had forgotten about Mr. Lan before, but it was Zhao Qian who remembered him. Yes and no. Let Xiao go to the abyss and let Wuhan see it with his own eyes. Is this a good thing? Tell me the story. All in all, the attending Dr. Wuhan highly recommends physical therapy, which can solve thousands of worries with one sword. Lao Ian's guesses are always accurate. Xiao's respectful attitude towards Lan Lao explained everything. Ye Bai perked up and urged. Maybe after looking at it, he started to kill people. The Taoist robe is an expression of a free and happy state of mind. There was nothing on the Taoist robe originally, but the white clouds appeared after Yingzhu accepted Xiao as a disciple, and now there are butterflies on the Taoist robe. However, I asked Mr. Lan for advice, and he made a guess. Ye Bai. Ye Bai's face turned slightly solemn and he asked. Zhao Qian said slowly. Even Yingzhu's recruitment of disciples Xiao was due to Lan Lao's contribution. Zhao Qian sighed helplessly. In fact, Lan Lao and Yingzhu worked together to do a lot of research on the soul system. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 509. In the villa, the two of them were sitting on the sofa respectively, looking solemn. Brother, please elaborate on Mr. Ian's conjecture and expand on it. High emotional intelligence, let's talk about it. Low emotional intelligence, I don't understand much. Is such that. Zhao Qian also knew that this was not something that could be explained clearly in a few sentences, so he patiently explained. This matter is related to the origin of my boss. Fourth brother must keep it secret. Origin. The corners of Ye Bai's mouth raised slightly. I am a time traveler. Do you see me showing off? Could it be that the origin of the third brother is more powerful than the time traveler? Come on horseback. Zhao Qian casually threw out a handful of eternal gold coins, and the surrounding space was shielded by him with the eternal sea. After doing all this, Zhao Qian spoke again. 100 years ago, the eternal tower came. After hearing this opening statement, Ye Bai knew that things were not simple. The origin of third brother actually starts 100 years ago. I hope it has nothing to do with Zhu Yi, the historical inventor. After the arrival of the Eternal Tower, the human race organized the first exploration team, and Mr. Lan was among them. Zhao Qian hesitated for a moment, then asked bravely. "Fourth brother, do you know who is in the exploration team?" "I only know that Nightmare and Lan Lao are among them, and I don't know anything else." Ye Bai shook his head and said bluntly. "Even if you know, I guess Master Ju has made up a lot of things. I know everything about Master Ju's tampering with history. At the same time, the Eye of Insight can reveal very little information directly related to the Eternal Tower. It is quite convenient to use when clearing customs. But when it comes to the secrets of the human race, especially those related to the most powerful ones, Danyan is particularly arrogant." After hearing Ye Bai's reply, Zhao Qian breathed a sigh of relief and continued. "Lao Lan was included in the exploration team because Lao Lan was a rising star in the scientific community at that time. He had great attainments in physics and astronomy, and he was expected to lead the exploration team. However, there was no Nightmare in the exploration team at the beginning. The exploration team led by Mr. Lan tried various methods but were unable to enter the Eternal Tower, until the Nightmare broke into the vicinity of the Eternal Tower." Ye Bai frowned slightly. "In other words, the Nightmare opened the Eternal Tower." "Not only that." Zhao Qian looked solemn. "To be exact, only nightmares can enter the Eternal Tower. After a while, we can enter." Zhao Qian didn't know what happened during this period. The only thing that is certain is that Nightmare played a key role in making the Eternal Tower open to everyone. Ye Bai raised his hand to interrupt and asked doubtfully. "Wait a minute, aren't we talking about the third brother? What does it have to do with the Eternal Tower?" Zhao Qian's voice was slightly bitter. "That's the problem. My boss didn't come to this world until the Eternal Tower appeared." "Ye Bai? You mean, time travel?" Ye Bai's voice was very smooth, without any abnormalities. "Damn it, is the third brother also a despicable foreigner?" Ye Bai once read an article on the internet, in which several big guys practiced until the end, and found that they were all time travelers, and were even related by blood. Such a bloody plot wouldn't happen to me, would it? Ah, what time travel? Zhao Qian looked confused and didn't understand what Ye Bai was talking about. "The mainstream speculation is that my boss is an alien, or as the Dragon Kingdom puts it, a flying fairy or a visitor from outer space." Ye Bai became even more confused. "Why are you related to aliens again? The more I talk about this, the more confused I become." Zhao Qian had to sort it out again. "My boss was not at Blue Star at the beginning. 100 years ago, the Eternal Tower appeared, and my boss suddenly appeared in Blue Star. After being picked up by a Taoist priest, my boss lived in a Taoist temple and helped people tell fortunes and fortune-tellings. It was not until 36 years ago that he was forced to awaken his talent and enter the Eternal Tower, becoming the third most powerful person in the human race." Listening to the brief introduction of his third brother's life, Ye Bai fell into silence. Comparing people to each other makes people angry. Why is Xiaoao so happy? Why is Shura so ______? Ye Bai still found blind spots. "No, let's not talk about the origin of the third brother or not, whether he is an alien or not. He was such a big living person, and when he appeared on Blue Star, no one noticed anything was wrong? According to Zhao Qian, Xiaoao made his debut at Blue Star. At least he is a young man, and he is probably not far from the Eternal Tower. Didn't anyone notice how extraordinary Xiaoao was? Someone did find it, Xueju." Zhao Qian said helplessly. "Xueju had a conversation with my boss once, and it seemed like he had a fortune telling. In the end, I asked Nightmare to take action and covered up all traces related to my boss, allowing my boss to live in seclusion in a Taoist temple for more than 60 years. It's reasonable to say so." Ye Bai continued to ask. "What are third brothers doing when they are living in seclusion?" Thinking about the problem, This problem is the key. There is no need for Zhao Qian to repeat it. Ye Bai also knows that it is the problem of Xiao Ao Mendi and Diamond Xiao Ao. When he said this, Zhao Qian looked extremely serious. My boss has been thinking about the butterfly in the question, and it is not an ordinary butterfly. In layman's terms, my boss believes that the butterfly has the power to create the world and is the embodiment of the world's origin. These two words are not enough to describe the horror of Xiao Ao. The power gained from the butterfly will naturally disappear. Hearing this, Ye Bai took a breath. Lao Ian's conjectures were analyzed by my boss. The consequences could be disastrous. If my boss identifies it as butterfly dream Xiao Ao, then the existence of Xiao Ao is just a dream. The butterfly is real, and it will return to its original nature and become the origin of the world again. His. The more Xiao Ao recognizes that he is Xiao Ao, the weaker his strength will be. This is still the best situation. If these powers do not disappear, but lose the control of my boss, Xiao Ao no longer exists. Of course, Ye Bai cannot accept this result. Ye Bai could only talk to himself. Once Xiao Ao determines the answer. Zhao Qian's face was particularly ugly and he added in a low voice. Zhao Qian paused and continued. Of course, Shura deserves a lot of credit here. For Xiao Ao, when the dream wakes up, the butterfly no longer exists. Are you kidding? No matter what choice you make, you will get a proposition. Ye Bai quickly asked. Judging from the current trend, Xiao Ao is undoubtedly more inclined to the option of Xiao Ao Mendi. If my boss identifies himself as the happy dream butterfly, then my boss will wake up from a dream and turn back into an ordinary person, and the butterfly in his dream will disappear. He tried to digest the explosive information, but found that he couldn't do it at all. Ye Bai calmly picked up the teacup and took a sip. But the problem is. Zhao Qian sighed and said helplessly. Powerful. The more Xiao Ao recognizes that he is a butterfly, the stronger he will be. The two sides of the tug of war have been in a stalemate for the past 100 years. It doesn't matter, these are all Mr. Ian's conjectures. No one is perfect, and Mr. Lan will make mistakes. Fourth brother. Simply put. No questions, don't panic. Ye Bai shook his head after hearing this. It is precisely because of the existence of this butterfly that my boss is so powerful. Now we can only hope that Lao Ian's theory is fabricated and its credibility is zero. What about the other scenario? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 510. Let me slow down. Ye Bai walked to the refrigerator, took a bottle of delicious happy water, and drank it in one gulp. Call. He took out a whiteboard and wrote Xiao Ao and Dai on both sides. Let me sum it up. Do you think what I said is correct? Ye Bai drew a line between the two words. My third brother's thinking is like a tug of war. The more carefree you are, the weaker you will be. The more butterflies you prefer, the stronger you will be. Zhao Qian nodded. You can understand it this way. Ye Bai continued his analysis. Does that mean that as long as the third brother hasn't made up his mind and is still wavering, he won't have any big problems? Right. Zhao Qian stood up, walked to the whiteboard, and wrote two words, out of control. If you tend to be carefree too much, my boss will be weaker. This is the function of his talent, and it is also related to my boss himself. If Xiao Ao is weak to a certain extent, the most powerful demon god who is ready to take action will definitely take action. At that time, the human race without the protection of the strongest will suffer disaster. Zhao Qian continued. If there are too many butterflies, my boss may lose control. It's not a loss of control in terms of power, but he will not choose to continue to protect the human race. Ye Bai understands this. If Xiao Ao believes that he is a butterfly incarnated from the origin of the world, then the human race and the demon race are the same in its eyes, and there is no need to take sides. In fact, Zhao Qian once specifically asked Ye Bai to chat with Xiaoao regularly to prevent Xiaoao from losing control. Treatment is done through talking, which is called talk therapy for short. Zhao Qian calculated everything, but he didn't realize that the effect of Shura's speech therapy was so great that he directly led Xiaoao astray. In the past, we had to worry that Xiaoao would be biased toward butterflies and eventually lose control. Now we need to worry about Xiaoao leaning towards Xiaoao, or losing control. Looking at the content on the whiteboard, Ye Bai nodded slightly. Only by maintaining a balance can third brother choose to protect the human race and also have enough strength. Here's the thing, it's really tricky. Zhao Qian sighed and said helplessly. Originally, my boss said that we don't need to worry about this issue. Why? Because before he can figure out the answer, he must fight a battle with the most powerful demon. Zhao Qian didn't say the rest, but Ye Bai probably understood. There are only two outcomes for Xiaoao's battle with the most powerful demon. In the first case, the most powerful demon dies and Xiaoao wins. In this case, Xiaoao has unlimited time to think. The human race is not in danger of annihilation, and the strongest can relieve themselves of their burdens. In the second case, Xiaoao loses. If you lose, and Xiaoao doesn't need to think about this issue anymore. In other words, Xiaoao didn't expect to be able to think of an answer to this question that he had been thinking about for 100 years. He was so focused on death that he had no time to think. Combined with the fact that the most powerful must die, Ye Bai's mind became heavy. As long as Xiaoao lives, he will be troubled by this problem. He needs answers and thinking takes time. The most powerful demon god will not give Xiaoao so much time. So, fourth brother, please say something that won't make you unhappy. Zhao Qian smiled helplessly and said. Originally, the faster you grow, it may not be a good thing for my boss. This principle is easy to understand. The faster Shura grows, the faster the powerful demon god wakes up. After the most powerful demon god wakes up, the first thing to do is to fight Xiaoao. Judging from the past experience of the strongest human race fighting against the strongest demon god, the results are not optimistic. In other words, the faster Shura rises, the closer the date of the decisive battle is, and the shorter the time left for Xiaoao. Ye Bai waved his hand. What's the matter? You are right to think so, but it is the most powerful demon who is wrong. According to the plan, in a month or two, my boss may have to face the most powerful demon. And 1 or 2 months is obviously not enough time for my boss to think about this issue. Zhao Qian continued. Fourth brother, as you know, there was a little accident. The little surprise that Zhao Qian mentioned was the fact that Yingzhu broke into the abyss of power. Yingzhu plotted against Xiaoao and also plotted against Ye Bai. After Shura gained the power to protect himself, Yingzhu led Huo Tianwang into the abyss of the strongest and bought Xiaoao 10 years. 10 years. This is the limit of Yingzhu's ability. As for whether these 10 years are enough, I don't know. But Yingzhu didn't think of anything. After a long time of observing Shura in Xiaoao, I actually had new ideas. Don't panic too much. Zhao Qian said with relief. My boss has been thinking about something for 100 years. How can he figure it out in just 2 days? Xiaoao thinks about this question, and even if he thinks about it for another 100 years, he may not have an answer. By the way, there's something I didn't tell you. Ye Bai, who was slumped on the sofa, rubbed his temples, with a sad look on his face, and said helplessly. Your boss told me last time that Master Zhu will be back in about 3 months. Zhao Qian? Doesn't that mean? The two people present were very smart and knew Xiaoao very well. 3 months is the time given by Xiaoao. Yingzhu, who is in the abyss of the strongest, has no life threat and can linger as long as he wants. Why come back after 3 months? Because Xiaoyao feels that he will get the answer he wants in 3 months. After getting the answer, Xiaoyao can take back his teacher and face the most powerful demon calmly. The countdown to this battle has begun, 3 months. Looking on the bright side, we still have 3 months. Ye Bai said seriously. Within 3 months, I will be promoted to level 999. I will be able to support third brother by then, so it shouldn't be a big problem. Well. Zhao Qian sighed. It's too early to say this now. He knew the fate of the first 2 strongest men better than Ye Bai. Moreover, without the complete mark of the strongest in hand, Shura could not help Xiaoyao in the decisive battle with the strongest demon. Ye Bai knocked on the whiteboard. There's always something we can do, right? Have. Zhao Qian thought for a while, nodded and said. Let's wait for the news from Master Zhu first, and then go to Wuhan to discuss it. If it's really not possible, we can't get Master Fool. Raise enough people and find a way to solve this problem for Xiaoyao. By the way, where did you get all these historical information? At the end of the chat, Ye Bai asked abruptly. It's not that I don't believe you, the main thing is that you also know the habits of Master Zhu, a historical inventor. What if, the information in your hand was also compiled by him? Zhao Qian smiled and shook his head to dispel Ye Bai's worries. This is simple. All I have is first-hand information. Keep it true. Ye Bai asked, how true is it? How to say? Zhao Qian tried to organize the language and gave an example. The first exploration team to explore the Eternal Tower was fully funded by me. Is this enough?